All right, folks. Well, not as much news. Well, last week we were covering 3 weeks worth of news. We have a little bit less news this week, but we have some pretty big news. The biggest board game award in the world was just announced, the Spiel des Jahres. This is the German Game of the Year. They have 3 different awards. Their main award is specifically for families, and it's over the past 5 to 10 years, it's gotten very light. There was a time where they had heavier games like Torres and Takao, and El Grande won one year, but those games would never be nominated today.
Right.
They wouldn't even have an award today because they wouldn't get. They're not probably heavy enough, right? It's interesting. They're in a weird space now. Maybe Torres.
Well, we'll come back to that about the next one, but let's talk about this is the biggest award here, and this one sells. Whichever game wins this award will sell 100,000 plus copies at least.
That's in English.
No. That's in Germany. Sometimes a game doesn't sell that well in Germany, even if it wins the Spiel des Jahres, but it gets at least 100,000 from talking to Tom Felber from the Spiel des Jahres. Anyway, so we have The Adventures of Robin Hood. This one has not yet come to English from Cosmos. I would imagine they'll rush it out now that it's been nominated.
Yeah, it's almost always how that goes, right? Whenever one gets the nod, if there isn't one in English, it really gets pushed to the front of the line quickly. They want it out now.
Sure.
MicroMacro Crime City, which is like a Where's Waldo cooperative game. And Zombie Teens Evolution, the sequel to Zombie Kids Evolution. Now, the interesting thing is all 3 of these games are cooperative games.
That is very interesting. I did not know that. MicroMacro has been touted for like the entire year. Not the entire year, but it's this thing has got to be nominated. In fact, Ignacy predicted that, and he's going to win that prediction on the show.
I'm going to predict that that's going to be the one that wins.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. So too.
I don't know anything about Zombie Teens at all.
Zombie Teens is a very, very light cooperative game, but it's legacy. So you start with some kids, some teenagers fighting off zombies. It's very basic. You're not even fighting zombies off as much as you're just trying to get packages from one spot to another. And then after a few games of that, you add some more stuff, and you open an envelope, and there's like 13 envelopes, and then you have a slightly more complicated game at the end.
That's interesting, seeing a legacy game get nominated for this award.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Scorpion Mask has a lot of Spiel des Jahres type games. They do a lot of party games and things like that.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think MicroMacro here is going to do it. They already gave a lot of love to Michael Menzel for Andor, Legends of Andor.
Sure.
So I'm thinking, that's going to be the critical darling in the middle there. And by the way, Steven, I don't care what Ignacy Trevicek has predicted. You tell him that I saw his video of his 5 favorite board game reviewers, and guess what? I wasn't one of them.
Was Tom Vasel
was I one?
You were not one of them, Tom.
Yes!
Yeah, that's a garbage video. I agree.
I review a lot of his stuff because I'm the one who reviews Portal things. And guess what? I have a sneaking suspicion his product quality is about to take a steep nosedive.
You having nothing to do with that video he made. Okay, all right.
No, unrelated.
Back on topic here. I've heard good things about Robin Hood, though I've obviously never played it. It's like you said, it's only in German, but I've actually heard good things about it. And it has Michael Menzel art as well. He's really known for his art more than his game design, though this is his kind of second big game, I guess. And I do think MicroMacro is going to win this only because it's so different and so interesting in concept. I saw this game when it was in prototype form, and I was like, "Yeah, this is great. This is going to be."
The only thing I think that's odd about MicroMacro is that the game itself, theme doesn't fit. The game is about you're looking through the city and you're looking for people. Almost every crime, not all of them, but almost every crime involves a murder. And that's not a theme that I would imagine is as common in Germany. They're looking for very non-violent themes, right? The game isn't violent. You're hunting the murderer down, but it will show they're cartoony, but it shows the murders. Anyway, so the other award the other big award they do, the Kennerspiel, this is quote unquote their more advanced game, but essentially what it means is if it doesn't qualify for the Spiel des Jahres, it fits in here because the range of complexity from Fantasy Realms to Lost Ruins of Arnak is quite a large jump. It's like Fantasy Realms, then you jump all the way up to Paleo, then you jump up to Lost Ruins of Arnak. They're all fine games. I just think it's interesting. This is a very wide range.
Yeah, because of Fantasy Realms, yeah. I don't know who I think might take it here. Maybe Arnak. What do you guys think?
Arnak's got the most
unique.
I don't know the gameplay, but Arnak has gotten the most buzz.
Yeah,
I think.
but I don't know that affects the committee as much.
True.
Fantasy
What did you
Realms
say,
seems
Tom,
too
about
small.
unique?
Paleo. I think Paleo might get it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the more unique, and it's also cooperative. It's the only one of these three. That's 4 out of the 6 games here. It's cooperative, by the way.
Yeah. I think Paleo would be an excellent pick. I think Fantasy Realms is very good too. I have not played Arnak. I know it's a little bit heavier, but Paleo would certainly, giving the nod to it would reward some very interesting game design.
I'm going to go Arnak.
Combinations, the original Spiel des Jahres. Sorry, go ahead.
I just said I'm going to say Arnak. I'm going to predict Arnak.
Okay. So the recommendation list for the Spiel was Bis 20, Chakra, Point Salad, Switch and Signal, and the Key, Sabotage at Lucky Llama Land. I really like that game, but that's a good. I've only played I think 2 of those games, but I have played the recommendations for the Kennerspiel. They got Aeon's End, Barrage. That's a really heavy game. Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and Rift Force. So that's a pretty heavy-ended recommendation list. Like, those are gamer games.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. It's interesting, Aeon's End, which is not a new game, but finally got a German publisher, and that's one of the you cannot be nominated or recommended unless the game is in German. So that was interesting to see.
Oh, Fantasy Realms has been out for years in English.
Right. And then for the Kinderspiel, the Kids Game Award, we have Dragomino, Mia London, and the Case of the 625 Scoundrels, and Storytellers. Now, I played Storytellers. I think it's an okay storytelling game at best. I think this may be the first time I've seen a Russian game get nominated. Dragomino would seem to be the favorite here, if only because King Domino won, and this is the little kids' version of that.
Possibly. Now, it's interesting. Mia London, one of the co-designers, is Antoine Boza, and if that wins, then he would be the very first person ever to take an award from all 3 categories.
Wow. Is that like a...
Is that true?
And Kinderspiel. That's true, yes.
Wow, nice call. And I'm going to make another interesting commentary here that Le Scorpion Masque has been nominated for the Spiel des Jahres and the Kinderspiel des Jahres. I'm not sure if that's the first time a publisher is into. No, probably not. Again, I'm sure it's not. But they're in both categories, and that's kind of a cool thing too.
Well, speaking not speaking of them, but I think they do a good job marketing. They do a good job marketing Scorpion Mask. So.
Yep. Tom?
Version of it. MicroMacro. I'm sorry?
You're breaking up a little bit, I think. On my end, you are.
No, I'm on Star AT&T. Did I just lose my internet?
You're good.
Okay. I can hear you.
You're good now. You're choppy, but you should be good.
Well, it's probably because I'm outside here, folks. Sorry. All right. MicroMacro Crime City Full House is the sequel to the first one, 16 more cases. And they also mark the cases with symbols so parents can decide if young kids can play it, which kind of goes back to my original point. They did note that the original game has already sold 500,000 copies. And as far as I can tell, it came out in October. That's
what?
Wow.
Yeah, it's
This is before the nomination. This is before the nomination. They made that much just on word of mouth. So
basically, if this game wins the award, then we're going to be getting MicroMacro expansions for the next 10 years. MicroMacro, the Roll and Ride is coming. I mean,
MicroMacro Legacy. Come on, if it's obvious, it's an easy one for Legacy.
You know that's going to happen if this game wins. Sold 500,000 already. Wow.
Yeah. This was like this thing is so big. It's like when Exit kind of came out, and then it was just boom, 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 because they realized that the whole system, the whole concept was just gonna work. They're these little one-shot things, and once you play one, you want to play another. Oh, and guess what? You got to kind of throw it in the garbage once you play it. So you got to buy another one. So it's like it's a real big money machine. But they're good games, so who's gonna complain, right?
Yeah.
All right, Bright Eye Games. This is from UK, and this is an offshoot of PSC. PSC makes big, gamer games, and so they made a smaller one. One of the things from Bright Eye Games here is Core Quest, made from our very own Dan and Cora put that one together. And now there's also Termite Towers, which looks cool. I've always wanted to see one of those termite towers, these giant ant hills. Well, they're termite hills, but, and Waggle Dance, which is yet another game about bees. Wasn't Waggle Dance already out?
Yeah, Waggle Dance is a reprint. Yeah, this is this came out a bunch of years ago. I don't know how long exactly. And it was a good game. I remember it. I remember the dice especially stood out to me. I don't know if you recall this, Tom, but the dice, the pips were hexes. It had little hexagonal pips.
I do remember that. This was, that's right. I remember this company, Grubwin Games. I gave this a 7, so I must have liked it. Obviously,
I liked it too. It's good.
You're right. I like the dice in this one a lot.
I love the fact that Dan Hughes has gotten his game published. He is such an awesome, fun guy, and he's been working on this project with his daughter. I think this is a triumph for him. I'm just happy about that.
I agree. Funko Games has announced a bunch of stuff. We didn't mention this last time. Funkoverse has Space Jam and Marvel, because apparently Marvel gives their license to everyone. They really do. So this Marvel is in Funkoverse, and it's in Unmatched, and it's everywhere else. I'm actually a little less excited about this one because it's already in Unmatched. But I can play Thanos against Batman now.
That's true.
Thanos against the Golden Girls.
That is they tried to put that in Endgame. I don't know if you knew this. A little bit of trivia for you. And it was
even Thanos could not snap those ladies out of existence. They're just too cool.
Here's the thing I'm disappointed about. They got the Seinfeld party game about nothing, and it's just trivia game, so whatever. But I was hoping there would be Seinfeld Funkoverse. So, unfortunately, that's not the case.
Shame. Missed opportunity.
All right, Stonemaier Games has announced an expansion for Between Two Castles.
No,
was anyone asking for this?
Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
I'm not saying the whole name.
Okay. You have to say.
That's correct.
Now, what's the other one called? Oh, Between Two Cities was the original, right?
Right, so there's Between Two Cities.
And then Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and then Between Two Castles of... Okay.
Yeah, so essentially, though, Between Two Castles is a reworking of Between Two Cities. It's really nothing like Castles of Mad King Ludwig at all.
Okay.
Other than theming and some symbols. This is cool, I guess. I didn't know this game last time I ran a convention. I don't know that Between Two Castles got checked out at all. But maybe there's a bigger fan base for this than I thought.
Yeah, I never played it. I never played the Between Two Cities either. I don't care about these.
This is a kind of a strange one, but maybe he'll spur some sales of the base game.
So here's my question now. Is third time a charm? Dominion coming to digital devices. Will this be the time it works? Because the last couple implementations were just universally derided.
What game is this?
Dominion.
And what game is that? Because it's who cares by now? Have you ever heard of Missing the Boat?
Well, who's doing the digital implementation? Who's doing it?
It's called Templegate Games, and they did Race for the Galaxies and Shard of Infinity, which I think Race for the Galaxy it's an older app now, you can tell, but it was very good when it came out, and Shards of Infinity works really well as an app. I signed up for the beta for this. I don't normally do that, but I want to play Dominion.
Is Shards of Infinity also Rio Grande?
No, Shards of Infinity is Stoneblade.
So it looks like Rio Grande's put all their cards with Templegate Games.
Maybe, but again, like I said, the last implementations of this were so bad. It was just terrible. They even had, for example, you could buy the expansions with this fake currency. But when you bought the fake currency, the amount of money that you bought the fake currency, if you want to buy all the expansions, you had to buy an amount of fake currency that was more than you needed to buy all the expansions.
I have no idea what that means.
It's that old trick of like, oh, this is Pokemon coins. This expansion costs 5 Pokemon coins. For $10 real, you get 6 Pokemon coins. Great. So now I have one left, which is just sitting there tempting me to buy more stuff. It's that old thing. It's so gimmicky. It was so manipulative. It was a terrible implementation anyway. I don't know what's going on, but this is like at that point now where like if you haven't called back this person after 8 years, don't embarrass yourself. Just don't call. This is the game version of that. Just stop.
So this is what they're saying about this game, though. They're saying the AI is so good, it's able to play cards that haven't been designed yet. Essentially saying... What? No, they're saying if a new card is designed and put in, the AI will know how to play it.
That's a very big claim. I think it's really cool.
I don't know that I would claim that till it happens. Like, this expansion's ready.
Yeah,
my question is
very cool.
Are there any Dominion cards that haven't been designed yet?
How many expansions does it have, give or take? Is it like
13
at this point? 15? Like major expansions, not like just
like 12 or 13. Tom,
wow.
You know.
Ish.
I don't know. I've stopped counting. I stopped counting after they said this is the final expansion, and then came out with an expansion the following year.
Right. Dominion set a whole thing in motion. It was I always say it was a mechanic in search of a game. Kudos to them for keeping it going so long. I'm
playing this all the time, and we're going to find out if big money truly is the way to win Dominion.
There you go.
Alrighty. So, last news. Chip Theory Games, who's known for Too Many Bones and their games with poker chips, they got a Hopalmachus on Kickstarter right now, has made some sort of deal with Bethesda in the Elder Scrolls universe. They put up a logo and they said more information coming in 2022. So I am immediately now forgetting about this because whatever. That's a half a year away.
I don't even know why we're recording.
You're supposed to hold your breath until 2022.
It's a big license, so there's that. And they make good games, but this seems like a very, very early announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what prompts this kind of move. Let's get ahead of other people who might announce having this license. Like, what prompts this sort of announcement?
It's kind of like when Marvel says, they put a teaser for a movie that's coming out 2 years from now, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
Either way, folks, that's the news. Thanks for watching.